In 1959, Betty Skelton Frankman was asked to go through numerous physical and psychological tests given to the original Mercury 7 astronauts. She landed on the cover of Look magazine, and although she would have loved the chance, she never really had any illusions that a woman would be selected for the Mercury program. Instead, she charmed the Mercury 7 astronauts with her great personality and her impressive flight skills. As a matter of fact, so much that they nicknamed her 7.5.
Betty Skelton was born in Pensacola, Florida, June 28, 1926, to David and Myrtle Skelton. Betty made her very first solo flight at the tender age of 12. She soloed legally on her 16th birthday and quickly earned her private license. At 17, she had acquired the flight hours to qualify for the WASPs, but it was disbanded before she reached the required age of 18 and a half. Nonetheless, she wanted a career in aviation and began working as a clerk for Eastern Airlines at night, leaving her days free to fly. When her father began planning an airshow fundraiser for the local JCs, someone suggested that Betty fly some aerobatics. Her dad said she doesn't know any, but Betty was game, and aerobatic pilot Clem Wittenbach easily taught her a loop and a roll. 2 weeks later, she gave her first public performance in a borrowed Fairchild PT-19. She then bought her own aircraft, a 1929 Great Lakes 2T-1A biplane, and began her professional aerobatic career in 1946. Betty toured the Southeastern Airshow circuit and became part of the legendary group of performers of the post-war era. She won her first International Feminine Aerobatic Championship on January 1, 1948, flying her Great Lakes. It was there that she noticed a striking new little biplane, the Pitts Special S-1C. Skelton approached the owner, who at first refused to let her fly the aircraft, let alone buy it. But she persisted and bought it in August 1948. It was an experimental single-seat open cockpit biplane, the smallest aerobatic airplane in existence at that time. She said, "I didn't just sit in that little airplane, I wore it." She named the plane Little Stinker and gave it a brilliant red and white paint scheme. In it, she became the first woman to perform an inverted ribbon cut at 10 feet above the ground. Betty won her second and third consecutive International Feminine Aerobatic Championships in 1949 and 1950. By late 1950, Betty had achieved the highest marks in aerobatics, but with the barriers in place against women, she had little incentive to continue. She had also burned out on the busy and stressful airshow scene. She sold Little Stinker. She then moved to North Carolina, where she eventually flew charter flights out of Raleigh. There she met Bill France, the founder of NASCAR, who talked her into driving at Daytona Beach during Speed Week. Not only did she drive the pace car at Daytona, she also set a stock car record. All of a sudden, Betty had a new career. As auto industry's first female test driver, she guided Little Miss Dodge, a jump boat, over a 1955 Custom Royal Lancer on a ramp at Florida's Cypress Gardens. In 1956, Betty became one of the top women advertising executives working with the General Motors Company in print, television, and automobile demonstration. Betty earned a total of 4 feminine world land speed records and set a transcontinental speed record. In 1959, she became the first woman to undergo many of the physical and psychological tests given to the original Mercury 7 astronauts and chronicled by Look magazine. Betty remains active driving her Corvette and recently has been busy accepting honors for her achievements. Each year, the United States National Aerobatic Championships honor the highest-placing female pilot with the Betty Skelton First Lady of Aerobatics Award. For more than half a century, Betty Skelton Frankman has been known as the First Lady of Firsts. Tonight, the National Aviation Hall of Fame enshrines the First Lady of Firsts, Betty Skelton Frankman.